Hey everybody! Yes, Kitty is here. She's wanting attention bad. Guess she's feeling better than she was last week. Oh well. But hey! Sunday Funday! Yay! Yeah, I didn't do 3 movies. Not gonna do 3. Yeah, I know BFG came out this week, and so did Tarzan, but none of those was I particularly looking forward to. Especially Tarzan. Sorry, I know some people are like, it's alright. I don't care really. It's one of those things like, I didn't care when Disney did it way back when. I didn't care for whenever, even when Greystoke originally, when I learned about that and so I watched it, I'm like, it's an alright movie, but it's just not my big thing. I just don't care that much about the character Tarzan. So, instead of watching a guy who's able to communicate with nature on the closest level possible without being Animal Man, instead I watched a movie about pretty much a jab at Republicans enacting extreme violence to get rid of the poor and unfortunate people. Yeah, this is the 3rd Purge movie. For those of you who have never seen any of them, The Purge is exactly what it sounds like. It's a purging. It was enacted as a time of year once every year, pretty much like a holiday. For 12 hours, people can pretty much sin in all essence. In fact, that's how they constantly symbolize it and make it an allegory in its way. And people are allowed to do whatever they want. They can murder, rape, burn stuff to the ground, beat the shit out of people. Who cares? Well, the first movie, it kind of just had it there as to give a good reason why these people are doing this home invasion in all essence. The second movie explored it a lot more, and the second movie was really, really, really good, I thought. I thought it improved so much over the original. Even though the original, I still think it's not a bad movie, I just think it was too narrow focus. The second one really expanded its focus. It really went out of its way to talk more about the Purge and also talk about how the fact that it's kind of used to cull the weak, cull the poor, and kill off any of those who dissent against the new founding fathers, as they're called, who are the ones who enacted this purge or this law, and not like that particular purge, like ding ding ding. And this one, it actually goes more into it. Sorry, throat's a little dry and Kitty's freaking out over here. But yes, it goes more into actually more of the Purge, and it goes a little political at times. I can see this movie probably being a very well loved movie, and it's sometimes a very well hated movie. Because the others were kind of subtle, even if they were a little on the nose with their messages. While this one straight up is not. And it's actually kind of hilarious with some of its messages and everything, and how it presents itself like at the very end, which I'll get into. But in all essence, it makes and it even pretty much says, like, the new founding fathers are, like, they're controlled by the NRA and all this. It's a little distasteful at times with that. It's like, oh, God. And people can have issues with the NRA, gun rights, anything like that. I'm not going to get into that because, personally, politics, to try and sit there and argue with somebody about it, especially if they disagree with you wholeheartedly, you are never going to change anybody's mind. The best you can do is just say, this is my viewpoints. If you want to, you can tell me your viewpoints, but they're not going to change mine. Unless, like, somebody can prove you, like, wholly wrong or totally wrong. Like, I believe this is totally evil and wrong. Well, there's no founding behind any of that just because you think it is. again, not going to get into it, but this movie does get into it a little bit with the politics of dealing with gun control and this or that. Though at the same time, it tries to play it safe by not getting too much into it. So I'm not sure always what the message is supposed to be. And really, there are a few essences where you can find yourself slightly conflicted with this movie. Not in terms of whether or not if it's enjoyable. Because if you enjoyed the first one, really loved the second one, or even just enjoyed both of those, you're going to enjoy this movie. You might feel like it's kind of pushing for the same stuff constantly. It might come across here and there that is coming through. But it's not... It might feel like I'm saying... sorry, my brain's a little scattered everywhere. But it might feel like it's sometimes going through the motion. But you can think that it's going through that. And it can seem that way. But it's still enjoyable if you just kind of clock yourself out and leave the politics of it behind. If anything, really the biggest problem, I think, is the politics of this movie. Because the more I think about it, the more it's like, it's a little... it doesn't need to go there. I know it wants to send some kind of message at times, but it feels a little untactful, if that's the right word to use. It doesn't feel like there needs to be this message sent this way. Or it doesn't feel like it's saying its message in a very good fashion. Because pretty much like, oh, killing for the fun of it is not good. Well, anybody knows that. Kitty. And she's gonna lay on my phone. Gotta get that from her. But I'm trying to put this into good words because it's kind of difficult to describe. Maybe my cat can help. Really, I think if it just let itself be, that's what I would say. It tries to go into messages about nowadays politics in a way that just don't feel very genuine and feel a little like this isn't in a world that is obviously from 2040 or something like that. It also does not help like technology seemingly has like not advanced. That's kind of weird because to pretty much break this movie down into actual like bits by bits, the whole movie begins with the senator character, who's one of the main characters. Her name is Charlie for some reason. Okay. But as anybody knows, if you've watched the trailers, her whole family was slaughtered in Purge. And it's because this one crazy guy said, I just want to kill you. And you learn it is like, was during the 5th or 7th annual Purge. It was one of the very early ones. And let's say she's 16 at the time. Or actually, let's say she is 17 at the time, or 18, something like that. She has to be either 17 or 18, assuming most of the normal laws apply into how they have elections and everything. Because after the scene where her family is about to get brutally murdered, which you don't see, which actually I think works, because you didn't need the extra gore. It wouldn't have added anything to the movie except for just have gore kills. We flash forward 18 years where she is running for president. Now, that's the reason why I said she has to be 17 or 18, because if normal laws apply, she has to be 35 or older to run for president. And, of course, she's running on the platform that the Purge needs to be revoked. There's no need for it. It is just them trying to kill the poor. It's simply about the murder of those who are less fortunate. And that's when also we learn about her running mate, who is a minister, who Robert Tilton is not as fanatical as this guy seems. But at the same time, this guy is kind of underplayed. I just realized like a sun just got covered up, so now it's all blue in here. But this guy is just a fanatic in the most sense. He is also a new founding fathers member. Oh, we don't learn anything about any of the presidents before him. There are certain things that are not explained. But to be fair, it's just minor little gripes someone may have. But like I said, we see her opponent, he's a minister of like pretty much a purge church in a way. Like they will pray and we're getting rid of our sins and everything. Again, it's an allegory for the Republican Party. And all politics aside, it's like, can Republicans be fanatics? Yes, they can be fanatics very badly. And so can Democrats, though. That's the one thing that started to kind of bug me. It's like, I was seeing them like, okay, I guess they're just, because again, like, and she goes, after we flash forward, and she's in this little debate with not Donald Trump, pretty much. Because this guy is like, oh, holier than thou, and I know what I'm talking about. And he's like, big talking, big speeches. He's Donald Trump, in all essence. Rolled with a little George Bush. So it's on nose as hell. But like I said, it's like, okay, so he's Donald Trump. Are they trying to say she's Hillary Clinton? Because I'm just going to go ahead and say it's like I don't agree with either one of the two main presidential candidates. If I can get into any political platform at all, I'll just go and say, fuck them both. I don't care. But it tries to seem like it's saying Republicans bad, Democrats good, but its candidate that it's trying to present us with. Well, first off, all we know about is she wants to repeal the purge. We can't tell. It's like, well, what else does she want to do? And the other guy, the reason why we need to hate him is because he is pro-purge. We don't get much else. It's like one of those almost, I wish they would have went a little more into the political things. But that's because I actually like political dramas and stuff like that when they're done well. Like Bulworth, if you take out all the rapping scenes or just the unimportant rapping scenes with Warren Beatty, it is actually a really, really good movie. It has a lot of strong messages that can really resonate, especially dealing with both parties, because it is a completely right down the middle, in a way, movie. It says Republicans and Democrats are just fucking retards in all essence. Pardon my French if you don't like the word retard, but they are. It applies to these two parties, especially the ones that are in the House and the Senate. And I mean House of Representatives, including White House as well. We'll just throw that in there. It's out of executive and also representative branch. Sorry, I went blank there. I was like, what are they called? That's my little political feelings. But yeah, like I said, Bulwark did a really good job. Recount, I think, took a very we're just going to talk about this thing that happened. It really doesn't say one way or the other who's right, who's wrong. It takes a very, not pessimistic, but realistic view. It doesn't say it's like, oh, well, the Democrats are right and blah, blah, blah. And there's one line I love that Kevin Spacey says in the movie. He simply says, like, I don't even care whether we win or not. I just want to know who the fuck won this election. In fact, I think I'm quoting verbatim. And that's a good thing. It's like, that is the thing that I think everybody still is wondering, even though we think we've known, but still we're not sure. That's the reason why digital things might be a little better. But here nor there, especially dealing with Florida. But to get off politics, because I don't want to sit here and talk about it, But like I said, it's just pretty much we're supposed to want this one lady to live because she's anti-Purge. It would help if we got a little bit more, because I'm just going to go ahead and let you know this much. And it's one of the problems with this movie. This is not a bad movie by any standards. This is just a movie that you really shouldn't try and think about. Like, I'm trying to think about it a little bit more, and it's kind of bothering me more because of that. Ah, sorry, my nose is running. Yeah, I would just still kick my ass. But we try to get beyond the politics in terms of audience goers, especially with this movie. And I think the writers really wanted to as well, and the director, because like we stay up on it a little bit and then we move on. But like I said, one of the problems with the lead actress, and it's nothing against her, just she's kind of just bland. I mean, she's not bad by any standards. She does fine. She looks terrified when she's supposed to be terrified. But she does some really stupid things. Like, we have Frank Grillo reprising his role from the second one. Hey, surprise, he lived through the end of it. Because we didn't really know if he lived or not. Yeah, but he lived. He's back in it. He's now a Secret Service member. And, like, he's like, oh, we need to go into the stronghold. She's like, no, I will not face it because my voters will not want to vote. People will not want to vote for me if I dare to try and protect myself. What? She's kind of stupid. She does a lot of stupid things. And, like, eventually, like, down the way, it's like she just stays at her house. It's kind of... It pulls from the first one in ways because it has, like, a home invasion thing, though it quickly pulls itself out of there. And I am thankful for this, that there is still CGI bloodness, which I still have my issues with, but it feels like there's a lot more actual blood whenever the gore starts to happen. And when people get shot, heads explode or just spray with blood. So that's always a good thing. And whenever, it's like, hey, you're actually trying here and there. And I get it, it's like the movie only has so big of a budget. You can't spend it all on blood. But yeah, Frank Grillo has to rescue her because this team of hitmen are after her. And at first she's kind of incredulous. Like, oh no, why, who would have hired them? Like I said, she's really stupid. It's like, the people you're pissing off, who the hell do you think's hired them? It's really kind of surprising whenever, like, you hear her at the, like, first, 20 minutes of this movie. Some of the dumb things. She's like, well, why would they? Who would actually be behind this? Who the fuck do you think? Seriously, it's like going up to a cop, cold cocking him, walking off, and then surprise, you get tackled to the ground and you're constantly being harassed by police officers for the rest of your life. I don't know why they're mad at me. You're pissing off the people that are in charge and everything. You're pissing off the government. You're pissing off those who are actually the only ones who could look over your well-being, because the only reason they're able to go after her with no repercussions to their own thing, they pretty much remove the usual restriction that's usually on the Purge, where pretty much government officials can't be targeted. Which is the only reason the new founding fathers have stayed in power. But they remove that so that way they can go after her. And it's one of those, what did you think was going to happen, lady? Ugh, God. Like I said, she's a little dumb. But thankfully she kind of quits being so stupid after the 15, 20 minute mark. This is a little over an hour, half long movie. And then we get to have the good old shenanigans, the crazy people who now we have actually foreigners coming in to simply purge. And it actually kind of raises up a interesting conundrum or interesting wonderments, like, well, would we allow that? And you're like, okay, I guess they are. It's like, wow, I wonder if they would do more of this, talk about this more in a later movie. Because, of course, this is going to get a sequel. This movie cost $10 million, and it's made $30 million already. this weekend alone, and that's not even including worldwide release. Where I don't know if this is going to do very good worldwide. And then against the movie, it just is a very American movie. This one especially, in terms of politics. There's going to be a lot of political little jabs in here that people are not going to get unless they know a lot about America and its political system, especially our two candidates. But yeah, it goes through the motions, and also it's been flashing back and forth to Bubba from Forrest Gump. It's the same actor. Or somehow he lived through Vietnam. Huh. But nah, he's got this one Hispanic guy. Actually, I can't say he's actually a Mexican guy because he's from Mexico City in the movie. He might not actually be from Mexico. I don't think the guy is. I want to say I've seen him in other things. I just can't think what he's been in. And it's one other lady who I swore was in the second movie. I just can't remember. It's been a little while since I've seen Purge Anarchy. But yeah, we get to see them going through their daily lives. And it's one of the issues kind of with this movie at the beginning. Beyond the political built-ons, it's a little heavy-handed at times. Where we're seeing these people, it's not entirely interesting and what they're doing, and we don't know why it matters. And in fact, it's a little... And of course, we get the people who we can tell are eventually going to become purgers later. There is this little bitty black girl and her other little bitty friend. I say little bitty because they look like they're 4'3". Either that or the guy that played Bubba from Forrest Gump is like 7 foot tall. Because they go to like his second rib down. You know, it's like, what? Or second rib from the bottom. They're short as can be. But they try to act all big and tough and like they're going to steal stuff. And sorry, I'm getting lost in my thoughts. That actually brings up an interesting idea, especially if the ending of this movie hadn't happened the way it did. And that is, since this is roughly 23 years after the Purge original was enacted, what about the generation has grown up with the Purge? That was one of the interesting things that it kind of talked about in the first movie, but never fully enough, and that was the young son from it. And that is, well, what about him? He's pretty much, his life has been dealing with the Purge every year. How has it affected them mentally? And it's an interesting idea. I would be really interested if they decide to talk more about that, especially when they do more sequels. But yeah, we see these three ladies. Joe, I want to say, is Bubba from Forrest Gump. Yeah, his name's Joe. Hugo, maybe? I don't know. I can't remember the other guy, the Hispanic guy. He's kind of cool. He doesn't really get to do much, but he's there. He does a great job, as he should be. They kind of talk politics, and it's obvious what some of the little goofy little jabs here and there. Like they even say it's like at the end, like eventually they all run into each other, like, oh, the party's collapsed, just like in the second one. In the fact that like he's like, oh, you should really take Florida. Florida's a swing state. It's what you need to really worry about and focus on. Thanks. Again, Bush. But like I said, eventually the little bitty short girl and some of her friends pop back up to try and kill this one deli guy, and she says like, I already killed my parents and everything. It's like, oh shit. This girl's a little psychotic. And she's a bit hammy, to say the least, but it kind of works for what she's supposed to be. She's supposed to be a complete psycho. Like almost anybody who would just go around wearing masks and shooting guns, and she wears like this like skimpy outfit. It made me feel really icky watching. I was like, I think I'm watching underage porn. But I'm pretty sure I'm hoping that she's of age at least, because like, oh my god, like otherwise this director's gross. Yeah, we get to see that, and out of nowhere, like all of them get killed because this one lady, who, I guess I swore she was in the second one, but I guess she's not. The more I think about it, I'm like, I don't think she was in the second one. But she comes by and just slaughters all of them. Runs over most of them, shoots them with a shotgun. Like, one of them's charging her with a machete. It's like, fuck are you gonna do? Yeah, like, everybody's all clumped together. And then we get a little bit more into the politics of everything whenever, after a few little shenanigans pop up, like they meet some Crips. Which actually, they do a very good job of this, because actually the Crips and Bloods, from the most that I've been able to gather, have been trying to, like, get rid of this stupid gang rivalry and quit murdering each other just for fun, which is always a plus. Murdering each other just for fun is not making sense. Yeah, like, they kind of get with some Crips, and they're like, oh, we'll protect you, we'll mow down these other government guys that keep coming after you. And they go to this triage center, as they call it, which is just this underground area to keep all of the... It's the word I'm looking for. My brain's just... Bleh. All the, like, poor, homeless people and all the people who are being purged or targeted for purging. Keep them safe and give them health care, everything, especially those who have been shot and stabbed and cut up. Now, like I said, it gets back into a political message with this, or it gets back into politics of it, because eventually they come across this one guy, his name's Bishop. He was briefly mentioned in like a brief little TV, like, here, his name's Dante Bishop. It's like, he's going to be important. This movie's not very subtle. So you go, I think this movie's not subtle enough. Yeah, he pops back up, and we learn that he's wanting to ensure that the senator gets voted in by killing her rival. And she's like, you're just going to make him a martyr. This is where I get my biggest problem with the movie. Okay, yes, I get the idea that if somebody dies, there's a good possibility he'll just become a martyr for the party. In all essence, that's the reason why LBJ, even though his policies vastly were almost two different worlds from that of JFK, why he got elected again. It's similar to why Harry Truman got elected again, because he was FDR's vice president. Martyrdom can lead to the political party who was the target of the martyrdom rising up. But they're trying to kill her the whole time. Now, I'm not talking about just for safety aspect of killing this asshole, but also in the fact that they revoked it anyway. You could easily argue and just say it's like, oh God, I guess he got killed by his own purge. You could easily spin it to where this is more proof that the purge needs to be removed. It's killing off politicians, the good people, and use him as a martyr for your cause. That's super simple. And it's like, oh no, I don't want him to die and everything. Though we do get to see him get punched in the dick, which is kind of funny. And like I said, that's one of the stumbling blocks with this movie. No, I don't agree with just because a politician is corrupt and evil and everything, they instantly need to be assassinated. Because some people can have slight corruptions. Watch American Hustle if you want to know what I mean. That's a movie that does politics very good. Very, very good. But even though the movie can be a little slow and long. I like American Hustle, but it takes its time times too much. Yeah, this particular thing, you're like, I don't see why the removal of this guy would cause them to be able to use him as a martyr. It would just be more proof that the purge is getting out of hand. Hello. I mean, come on now. Let's just use a little common sense. Just a little bit there. And think about this. Our country's now having people fly in. I mean, you have so many different things that could be used, like the people flying in from our countries just to come here to murder people and unleash their aggressions. And why there's no cops in there, they're going, alright, you've already have premeditated it. Go home. I don't know. But you can already have that. You can show it's like, hey, it's killing off the founding fathers. Like this big gunfight, like half the founding fathers just get wasted. And one of them, he sounds like he's from freaking Deadwood. It's kind of hilarious. Yeah. I mean, it's very easy to use his death as something to help propel you, especially whenever you can be like, yeah, even he was going to try and purge me, but he ended up getting killed by some political assassins that I don't know who they were. They don't work for her. They're not under her payroll. They're just everyday citizens who are tired of the purge murdering people left and right. So why does he need to live? I don't know. It like I said, it's a stumbling block for them. It's one of the problems with it. Beyond the political talk, just a little too, like I said, on the nose. So, movie gets done. We see that Senator wins, though she's red and the other guy's blue. It's one of those, wait, what? Moments. Because if you really think about it, if he's supposed to be allegory for the Republican Party always is red, and Democratic Party is blue. So are they trying to say he's Hillary Clinton then? Makes a small confusion with their symbolism and story they're trying to tell here. Kind of confuses it. Hey, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, and she's like, first executive order, I'm going to banish the purge. Can't do that technically. Politics, for those of you who are from other countries who do not know a whole lot about how American politics work, president can't decry an executive order and sign it and put it into power. But it is then subject to judicial review. Judicial review, more importantly, by the Supreme Court. Now, if we're to believe that the Founding Fathers have been pretty much in control of the entire country for 20 plus years, and they've kept most of the normal stuff, like the House of Representatives, Senate, Supreme Court, and everything. Okay, let's believe they still have that. Then they have the Supreme Court in their pockets. Supreme Court was obviously appointed by them. They control whether or not your executive order could be overturned. And no offense, for you to be able to enact massive law changes like that, to pretty much take away an amendment, it has to be put through the House and the Senate. And then it has to be approved by 75% of the United States own Congresses. That's what word I was looking for, Congress. It has to be approved by 75% of them. Or some Congresses can actually decide to let it get passed through the actual people and they can vote upon it. Pardon. So, technically she can't always end the purge. It's kind of a weird, like, made a small error there. It's like, and it tries to tie everything nicely with a bow, but it still makes issues here and there. But despite all that, I still enjoyed this movie. I still rather enjoyed this for what it is. It wants to be something bigger than what it is. It wants to be a political film in a way. It wants to have a message. It still also wants to be a bit exploitive, which is fine. You can have exploitation movies if they're done well. This one's still done rather well. I just think because of the bill taunts here and there, especially with the politics, it's a little heavy-handed. That's the reason why, like, if I really am going to give this a final grade, I would say, like, the first Purge is a 7, really closer to a 6 because it is a very, very flawed movie, but it still has a lot of really, really good parts and a lot of surprises here and there. For those of you who do not know, no offense, it's a 5-year-old movie. I want to say it's about 5 years old, if not older, movie. Ethan Hawke dies before the end of the movie. Your head actor, your head top-billed character is dead like 3/4 away. And he dies in a brutal fashion, too. But he dies in a way anybody who would want to, it was in that kind of situation, would want to die. Trying to save your family. Neither here nor there, though, for me to speak more about that, because it's my own personal opinions. But I do believe people would want to go down fighting rather than just go down cowering. Like I said, first one, a 7, probably closer to a 6, if I really want to say. It'll probably constantly shift between those two, but still enjoyable enough that I want to own it. I own the second one. I say it's an easy 9. The only thing I wish I could have had more with that movie was more of it. Excuse me, and that is never a bad thing for me. Though also I will say this director, he does have a distinctive art style in how he will shoot things, and he likes to play around with angles and everything, and sometimes it can be a little distracting. It's like the angle is more important than the scene, which doesn't always translate very well on the screen, it was a minor gripe in the second one. It's a minor gripe in this newest one. He still has that issue every now and then. Like, sometimes it goes for really dark shots, and sometimes you're going, I don't see what's going on. Please turn on a light. Again, minor gripe that pops up every now and then. It's nowhere Alien vs. Predator Requiem issues where vs. Predator Requiem was like, this would be a really cool movie if the lights were on. But this movie, I would say it's right between both of them. Some are saying this is the best movie of them all. I wouldn't agree with that just because it is a little slow to start. And also its political message is a bit muddled. And because of that, and also because it tries to go with a political message at times, I give it an 8. It might swing down to a 7, but right now it's an 8. I think it's a really enjoyable movie. You're not going to feel disappointed if you go to see this, unless you're an idiot and you fucking bring a kid to it. Minor gripe. The theater I went to, they brought a kid to it. A number of people brought kids. And I don't mean like 12-year-olds or anything like that. Not really that big of an issue. 5 or 6-year-olds, though, that's got problems. You are a shitty parent. You're bringing your kids to this movie. It was violent as can be. This is not a movie for really smaller kids. But hey, yeah, just bring them there. They'll love that. They wouldn't want to see Finding Dory or anything, I guess. Oh, yeah. This movie is a solid 8. Maybe it'll go down to a 7, but right now, solid 8. Now, if I could say one thing else about this movie, I hope this next one, the 4th one, is actually the first one. And by that, I mean, I hope it's the first Purge. It talks about that. Because this is something that the director, or who's also one of the writers on this movie, has said he's been interested in exploring. And I'm interested in it too. I'm curious where it goes and what would happen. Sure, the politics of it are going to be still be there, going to be a bit on nose probably. But I'm still curious, how did people react with the first Purge? What happened? Is that the reason why this world seems kind of not super well populated? Because a lot of people have been killed throughout Purges. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We know we're going to get another one, unless this movie just tanks after this week, which I don't think it's going to. Because next week, there is 2 movies. Zach and whatever. It's the stupid two brothers that need a date that end up with the two girls who all talk like this the whole movie by the seams of it. Because that's going to be fun. Ugh. It's that movie, which looks to be about as fun as getting your hands nailed. Yeah, it was fun. It was much better than seeing that movie. Oh, God. Or it's Secret Life of Pets, which is going heads up with Finding Dory, which is still just raking into money. Which is kind of astounding to me, because I've heard many people are like, Finding Dory is good. That's it. But hey, I was astounded by Jungle Book staying like in top 10. In fact, I want to say it's near top 10 still. And it's like, it's not that good of a movie. It really isn't. So Secret Life of Pets is not going to really go up against this. Only the Zach and what's this guy named Wedding Dates. Which I don't care about. I'm not going to go see. I'll probably see Secret Life of Pets next week. 2 weeks more, folks. And finally, I can probably get it out of my way. Probably the second most dreaded movie that's going to be coming out this year. Dreaded by, I think, just by everybody. I don't think there's a single person that's looking forward to this, but we're going to review it. All critics are going to watch it. But July 15th, there's only one movie that comes out that week. Which is sad, because it really needs competition. Just so that way it cannot make anything. Yeah. Then 2 weeks, people. Ghostbusters. Oh, God. So, I will see you all then. Hopefully next week I'll have Secret Life of Pets and I'll be fine. Maybe I can have a reason to avoid Ghostbusters. So, bye-bye, everybody.